You are standing in the middle of aisle 4 at the grocery store. It's a Tuesday morning. You have a list in your hand: milk, eggs, maybe some fresh fruit. You have only been walking for about 10 or 15 minutes. At first, everything felt fine. You walked in from the parking lot with a steady stride. But now, slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, a strange heaviness is starting to creep into your legs. It isn't a sharp, stabbing pain like a needle. It is something different. It feels like your legs are slowly turning into lead pipes. It feels like you are wading through wet cement that is drying around your ankles. A dull, throbbing ache begins in your lower back and wraps around your hips like a heavy, wet blanket. You start scanning the store, looking for a bench, a chair, anything. But there are no benches in the pasta aisle. So, what do? You do the one thing that your body is screaming at you to do. You grab the handle of your shopping cart, you plant your feet, and you lean forward. You put your weight onto that plastic handle. You hunch over it, rounding your back. And suddenly, like magic, the pressure releases. The cement dries up and falls away. The lead pipes turn back into muscle and bone. Your legs feel light again. You take a deep breath, a physiological sigh of relief. You tell yourself, "Man, I must just be tired today. I'm getting old. I need to get back to the gym." You might think that leaning forward is just a sign of fatigue. You might think it is a sign of weakness, or that your posture is just bad. But I need you to listen to me very carefully right now. That shopping cart lean is not about being tired. It is the single most important diagnostic signal your body can give you. It is a massive, flashing red flag. Your body is screaming at you in the only language it knows. It is trying to tell you that something mechanical is going dangerously wrong inside the architecture of your spine. Most people ignore this signal. They finish their shopping, they go home, and they sit down in their favorite recliner. They push through the pain because they are from a generation that is tough. They think if they just stand up straighter next time, they will fix it. But here is the hard, cold truth that most doctors won't explain clearly enough. Ignoring the specific relief signal is the #1 reason seniors lose their independence. It is the reason people go from walking around the neighborhood to being unable to walk to the mailbox at the end of the driveway within the span of a few years. This isn't just a bad back. This is a plumbing problem that is cutting off the life support to your legs. If you do not understand the mechanics of why that shopping cart feels so good, you are accidentally crushing your nerves every single time you try to stand up tall. You are doing damage without even knowing it. But if you stay with me, we are going to fix that. We are going to take that relief you feel at the grocery store, and we are going to learn how to create it in your living room without the cart, and eventually while you are walking down the street. We have a lot to cover. We are going to debunk the stand-up straight myth. We are going to fix your sleeping position. But I want to make a deal with you. You have to watch this all the way through, because the final tip, the one about how you sleep, is the silent killer of spinal progress. You can do all the exercises in the world during the day, but if you get the sleep position wrong, you undo it all by morning. It is the missing link for 90% of the people I treat, so stick around for that. Let's look at what is actually happening inside of you. I want you to visualize your spine, but forget the complicated medical charts with the Latin names. I want you to imagine a garden hose running down through the center of your back. This hose starts at your brain and runs all the way down to your tailbone. At the bottom, it branches out into smaller hoses that run down your legs to your toes. This hose carries the water, the electrical signals that let you walk, balance, feel the ground, and move your toes. When the hose is open and the water flows freely, your legs feel light, they feel strong, they are responsive. You don't even think about them. But right now, you have a kink in the hose. This condition is often called spinal stenosis. Stenosis is just a fancy Greek word that means choking or narrowing. Over the last few decades, the tunnel inside your vertebrae, the bony canal that protects the hose, has started to close in. Maybe it is arthritis, which grows bone spurs like jagged little rocks inside the tunnel. Maybe the ligaments that hold your spine together have thickened up like old leather, taking up precious space. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. The tunnel is too small for the hose. Now, here is the mechanics of the shopping cart sign. When you stand up tall, you think you are doing the right thing. You have been told your whole life by your parents, your teachers, maybe even your drill sergeant, to stand up straight, shoulders back, chest out. It is a sign of pride. It is a sign of alertness. But for your specific spine, standing tall is the enemy. When you stand perfectly upright, you naturally arch your lower back. This arch compresses the vertebrae at the back of your spine. It acts like a clamp. When you arch, you are taking that garden hose and kinking it right at the belt line. The space narrows, the clamp tightens, the flow of water stops. That is why your legs feel heavy. That is why they cramp, tingle, or go numb. It isn't because your leg muscles are weak. You could have the strongest legs in the world, but if the signal isn't getting there, they won't work. It is because the signal from the brain has been cut off at the waist. It's like trying to water your lawn when someone is standing on the hose with a heavy boot. No matter how hard you squeeze the nozzle, nothing comes out. The pressure builds up, but the water doesn't flow. But think about the shopping cart again. The moment you lean forward, what happens mechanically? You flatten that arch in your lower back. You physically pull the vertebrae apart. You open up the exit ramps for the nerves. The clamp releases, the boot steps off the hose. The water flows again. The pain vanishes almost instantly. This isn't muscle recovery. Muscle recovery takes days. This is a mechanical release of a chokehold on your nerves. You aren't weak, you are just compressed. Recognizing this difference, that it is a mechanical pinch, not a muscular weakness, is the first step to getting your life back. I want to know if this hits home for you. Does your pain start in the lower back, but end up making your legs feel like lead after walking for just 5 or 10 minutes? Do you have to sit down to make the tingling stop? Drop a yes in the comments below if you know exactly what that heaviness feels like. I read every single one, and it helps me tailor these videos to exactly what you are experiencing. Now, here is where things get dangerous. Because you feel stiff, and because you feel that ache, your instinct is to stretch. You want to loosen up the back. That makes sense, right? If something is tight, we stretch it. So you might go to a general exercise class at the local senior center. Or maybe you go online and search for best back pain exercises. You are going to find a lot of advice, millions of videos. But there is a trap waiting for you, a serious, painful trap. There is one specific stretch that is recommended by almost everyone. It is the gold standard for back pain. If you are a 20-year-old construction worker with a bulging disc from lifting a heavy box, this stretch is a miracle worker. It can save your back. It pushes the jelly back into the donut. But for you, for the person who leans on the shopping cart, this exercise is absolute poison. I see seniors doing this movement every single day. I see them doing it in parks, in gyms, even in their living rooms on the carpet. They think they are helping themselves. In reality, they are manually tightening the noose around their spinal cord. They are speeding up the damage. They are closing the very holes in the spine that we are trying desperately to open. I am going to show you exactly what this dangerous movement is in just a few minutes. I will explain why it might be the main reason you aren't getting better, despite all your hard work. But before we reveal the trap, we have to deal with the root cause. We have to understand why the hose is kinked in the first place. Why is your back arching so much when you stand up? We have to talk about your hips. Because believe it or not, your hips are the reason you can't stand up without pain. I want you to think of your body like a marionette puppet. You have strings that control your movement. The most powerful strings in your body are called the hip flexors, specifically a muscle called the psoas. These are the muscles on the front of your hips. They attach to the top of your thigh bone, and this is the incredibly important part. They run up through your pelvis and attach directly to the front of your lower spine. Think about how much you sit. We all do it. It's modern life. We sit to eat breakfast. We sit in the car to drive to the store. We sit to watch the news. We sit to read or check our phones. Every single hour you spend in a chair, your hips are folded. You are holding those puppet strings in a shortened position. Over years and decades, your body adapts to what you do most. If you sit for 8 hours a day, your body thinks, okay, I guess we need these strings to be short now. It literally shortens the muscle fibers. It turns those elastic strings into tight, thick cables. So, imagine those strings have shrunk. Now what happens when you try to stand up? You try to straighten your legs to get vertical. But those short, tight strings on the front of your hips are pulling tight. They refuse to let your hips open fully. They are like a leash that is too short. Since your hips won't extend all the way, your body has to find a way to get your head upright so you aren't looking at the ground. So what does the body do? It compensates. It forces your lower back to break forward. It yanks your lumbar spine into a deep, aggressive arch to compensate for the tight hips. You might look in the mirror and think you are standing straight, but you aren't. You are standing in a state of high compression. You are fighting your own muscles. That deep arch in your lower back, the one causing the pinch, is being caused by the tight strings in the front. Every time you stand up and those tight hips pull your spine forward, you are closing the door on your nerves. You are creating the pinch. You are stepping on the hose. We need to lengthen those strings so your spine can finally breathe. We need to stop fighting the puppet strings. You are standing compressed. But the good news is, you can manually override this compression. You don't need a fancy traction machine. You don't need expensive decompression therapy. You don't need a chiropractor to crack your back. You need a kitchen sink. Let's go to the kitchen right now. I want you to visualize this, or if you can, take your phone or tablet and walk to the kitchen. This technique is going to become your new best friend for pain relief. This is your shopping cart at home, but with better mechanics, because we can control it better. Here is exactly how to do it, step by step. First, stand facing the sink. The sink is perfect because it is sturdy, it is the right height, and you can grip the edge. Hold on to the edge of the counter with both hands. Get a solid grip. Make sure your feet are on a non-slip surface. We don't want you sliding in socks on a tile floor. Safety is number one. If you have balance issues, do this with someone nearby the first time. Now, keeping your hands firmly on the sink, slowly walk your feet backward. Take one step, then another. Keep your arms straight. As you move back, drop your hips behind you. Imagine there is a chair way behind you, about 3 feet away, and you are trying to reach it with your backside. Let your head drop between your arms. Look at the floor. Do not look up at the window. Looking up extends the neck and tightens the back. Let your neck be long and loose. Here is the secret sauce. As you sink your hips back, I want you to think about rounding your lower back, just a tiny bit. Do not arch it. Round it like a scared cat, but gently. Imagine you are trying to pull your tailbone away from your neck. You are creating a tug-of-war between your hands holding the sink and your hips pulling back. You should feel a gentle opening in the lower spine. It shouldn't hurt. It should feel like a deep sigh of relief. It should feel like an accordion that has been squeezed shut is finally being pulled open. That sensation, that is the space opening up. That is the vertebrae separating just a millimeter or two. That is the hose unkinking. Hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Don't hold your breath. Breathe deeply. Imagine sending your breath right into that tight spot in your low back. Visualize the air expanding the space between the bones. If you feel any sharp pain, stop immediately. Slowly walk your feet back in and stand up. But for most of you, this will feel like the pressure is finally draining out of your back. Do this whenever your legs feel heavy. Do it before you go for a walk. Do it after you do the dishes. Do it when you get home from the grocery store. It is a reset button for your spine. It costs nothing, takes 30 seconds, and is more effective than most painkillers because it treats the mechanical cause, not just the symptom. Now that we have created some space with the sink, we have a bigger challenge. We need to learn how to keep that space open while you are standing up and walking around. You can't walk around town holding on to a sink. You can't bring the shopping cart into the post office. You need to carry that open feeling with you. This brings us to the most important tool in your kit. I call it the soup bowl visualization. This is how you fix your posture from the inside out. I want you to imagine your pelvis, your hip bones, is a big bowl of soup. It is filled right to the brim with hot tomato soup. When you stand up with that deep arch in your back, the way your tight hip flexors want you to stand, you are tipping the bowl forward. You are spilling the soup all over the front of your pants and your toes. This forward spill is what doctors call an anterior pelvic tilt. This position jams the facet joints in your back together. It narrows the canal. It crushes the nerves. It is the posture of pain. To fix it, you need to spill the soup backward. We call this a posterior tilt. But let's keep it simple. You just want to gently tuck your tailbone under you. Imagine you're a dog with a tail and you are scared, so you are tucking that tail between your legs. It is a tiny movement. You don't need to look like you're doing a dance move, just a subtle tuck. When you do this, place your hand on your lower back. You will feel that deep arch flatten out. By flattening the arch, you physically open up the holes where the nerves travel. We are talking about millimeters here, but in the spine, millimeters are miles. Millimeters are the difference between walking to the park and being stuck in the chair. Millimeters are the difference between playing with your grandkids and watching them from the window. Try it right now while you're standing there. Spill the soup on your toes. Feel the pinch in your back? Now tuck the tail and spill the soup on your heels. Feel the release? That heel spill is your safe zone. That is where you want to live. If you are standing in line at the bank, tuck the tail. If you are washing hands, tuck the tail. If you are chatting with a neighbor, check your soup bowl. Are you spilling forward? Pull it back. If this tip helps you understand your posture better, hit that subscribe button right now. I don't want you to miss next week's guide on footwear, which plays a huge role in how your pelvis tilts. Now, remember that poison exercise I warned you about earlier? The one that everyone recommends but destroys your specific condition? We need to talk about it because I guarantee you have tried it, or a trainer has tried to make you do it. It is the cobra. You know the one. You lie on your stomach on the floor or a yoga mat. You put your hands on the floor under your shoulders, and you push your chest up high, arching your back like a snake, looking up at the ceiling. Yoga classes love this move. It opens the chest, they say. Physical therapists prescribe it for herniated discs all the time. It is called the Mackenzie extension. And here is the confusion. If you had a herniated disc pushing backward, which is common in younger people, that exercise would be perfect. It pushes the disc back in. It saves the day. But you do not have a herniated disc. You have stenosis. You have a narrowing of the bony canal. Think about the mechanics. When you do the cobra, when you bend backward, what happens to the bones in your lower back? They crash together. You are forcing the spine into extreme extension. You are aggressively closing the very canal that is already too tight. It replicates the exact problem you are trying to solve. It is the opposite of the shopping cart. When you lean back, you kink the hose harder. You are pinching the bruise. I have had patients come to me in tears saying, "I've been doing my back extensions every day for a month and my legs are getting worse. The numbness is spreading." Of course it is. You are mechanically compressing the nerve root. You are grinding the bone spurs into the nerve. So here is the rule. If walking upright hurts and leaning forward helps, you must avoid deep back extensions. No cobras, no Supermans, where you lift your legs and arms while lying on your stomach, no camel pose in yoga. Stick to the flexion, stick to the rounding, stick to the movements that open the holes, not the ones that close them. Knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. You can do all the right things, but one Cobra session can set you back 2 weeks. So, we know we shouldn't lean back, but you also can't walk around town bent over double like you are at the kitchen sink. You need to walk upright. You want to look normal. You want to walk with dignity. The secret to doing this without pain is the walk this way strategy. It all comes back to that bowl of soup. When you are walking, you need to keep the soup level. You need to stop it from spilling on your toes with every step. How do you do that while moving? You do it with your glutes, your butt muscles. The glute muscles are the anchor of your pelvis. They are the powerhouse of your body. But for most of us, they are asleep. We sit on them all day, so they turn off. When they are weak or asleep, your pelvis tips forward and the soup spills. When they are active, they pull the pelvis down into that safe, tucked position. Here is the instruction, and I need you to listen to the nuance here. I am not telling you to clench your butt cheeks as hard as you can, like you are holding a coin between them. That will just make you walk like a robot. It will cause hip pain and make you look strange. I want you to use the 20% rule. As you walk, keep a slight, gentle squeeze in your glutes. Just engage them about 20%. Think of it like a check. Before you take a step, just check that your glutes are awake. That tiny bit of tension acts like a back brace made of muscle. It stops the pelvis from tipping forward. It keeps the canal open while you move. Try this. Next time you walk down the hall, squeeze your glutes slightly. It is going to feel weird at first. It will feel like you are walking flat. It might feel like you're shuffling a bit because your stride is shorter. That is good. That flat feeling is your spine finally breathing. A shorter stride is better for you. Long strides force the back to arch. Short strides keep the back neutral. You are preventing the sway back. You are keeping the hose unkinked while you are vertical. It takes practice. You will forget, you will walk 10 steps, and then your mind will wander, your glutes will relax, the soup will spill, and the pain will come back. That's okay. That is normal. Just stop, reset, tuck the tail, engage the glutes 20%, and start again. Think of walking not as a way to get from A to B, but as an exercise in keeping the canal open. Every step is a rep. Now, we have covered the diagnosis, the stretch, the posture, and the walking. But if you aren't careful, you will undo all that good work the moment you go to bed. Sleep is dangerous. Not because of nightmares, but because you are unconscious for 8 hours. That is 1/3 of your life. If you sleep in a position that compresses your spine, you are going to wake up in pain. You are going to start your day with the hose already kinked. I see this all the time. People feel okay when they go to bed, but they wake up and can barely move. They have to sit on the edge of the bed for 20 minutes just to get their legs to work. That is a positioning problem. Sleeping on your stomach is the worst thing you can do for spinal stenosis. When you lie on your stomach, gravity pulls your lower spine into that deep arch. The mattress might be soft, so your belly sinks in and your back arches even more. It is the same as standing with the sway back, but you are doing it for 8 hours straight. It closes the facet joints, it narrows the canal, it pulls the blood in the wrong areas. If you wake up and can't feel your feet or your back is stiff as a board, check your sleeping position. You are likely twisting or arching without knowing it. You need to change the angle. You need to open the canal while you dream. Here is the best position for you. Lie on your side, but don't just lie straight like a log. First, get a thick pillow and put it between your knees. This is non-negotiable. If you don't have a pillow, the top leg slides forward and twists your lower spine. The twist acts like a ring on a towel. It squeezes the nerves. The pillow keeps your hips square. And then, this is the key, curl your knees up slightly toward your chest. Get into a loose fetal position. Why? Think about the mechanics we just learned. Bringing your knees up rounds the lower back. It replicates the shopping cart lean, but you are lying down. It physically opens the spinal canal and keeps it open all night long. It gives your nerves 8 hours of room to breathe and heal. It allows the inflammation to drain away. Safety note: if you have had hip replacements, you need to be careful with how far you bend your hips. Talk to your doctor about safe angles for side sleeping. But for most people, that pillow between the knees and a slight curl is a game changer. If you simply cannot sleep on your side, if you must sleep on your back, you have to modify it. You cannot lie flat on your back with legs straight. That pulls the psoas muscle tight and arches the back. You must put 2 thick pillows under your knees. This bends the knees, slackens the hip flexors, and allows your lower back to sink flat into the mattress. I want to set some realistic expectations here. I am not selling you a miracle cure. There is no magic pill. Your spine didn't narrow overnight. The arthritis, the thickening of the ligaments, the bone spurs, that took decades to develop. It is a result of a life well lived. It isn't going to open up overnight. This is a game of mechanics, not magic. You are going to have good days and bad days. You might try the glute walk and feel great, and then the next day the pain is back. Do not get discouraged. That is the nature of the beast. Nerves are temperamental. They take a long time to calm down once they are irritated. The goal here isn't to have a perfect-looking spine on an X-ray. The goal is function. The goal is to be able to walk to the mailbox without having to stop and lean on a fence. The goal is to stand in line at the bank without your legs going numb. The goal is to go grocery shopping and not need the cart for support, but to use it just for the groceries. You can achieve these goals, but you have to be smarter than the pain. You have to be a mechanic for your own body. You have to avoid the cobra. You have to embrace the tuck. You have to use the kitchen sink when you need relief. You have to check your glutes when you walk. You have to set up your sleep fortress. Keep that canal open. Give your nerves the space they are begging for. If you keep the pressure off, the inflammation will go down, the nerves will calm down, and you will find that you can walk a little further every week. Maybe next week it's to the neighbor's house. Maybe next month it's around the block. You have the tools now. You understand the mechanics. You know more about your back than most people do. Now you just need to use that knowledge. I want you to try the kitchen sink stretch today. Just try it once. See how it feels. And if you found this explanation helpful, if the hose and the soup made sense to you, please share this with a friend who is struggling. You might save them from doing the wrong exercises and making their pain worse. I also want you to check out our other great video about why forward bending relieves your leg pain, the sign of spinal stenosis. It goes even deeper into the anatomy of why the lean works and gives you a few more variations of the stretch. Tap the card on your screen right now to keep learning. I'll see you there.